Have you ever been judged in a single glance, dismissed before you even had a chance to speak? Imagine pouring your heart into something small, something humble, only for someone powerful to laugh at it like it means nothing. Now imagine what happens when kindness, quiet strength, and patience turn that moment into something unforgettable. Because sometimes, the people who seem the smallest, are the ones who change everything. Before we begin, if stories like this touch your heart, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Welcome to Echoes of Stories, where every story carries a message worth remembering. It was a cold morning in a quiet American town when Daniel Hayes wiped the grease from his hands and stepped out of his tiny repair shop. The wooden walls creaked in the wind, and the old sign above the door, Hayes Repair, hung slightly crooked. It wasn't much, but it was his. Inside, the shop smelled of oil and metal, and every tool had a story. Daniel wasn't just fixing machines, he was holding on to a dream he built with his late wife. Every bolt he tightened, every engine he revived, felt like keeping her memory alive. That morning, the silence of the street was broken by the smooth purr of a luxury car pulling up outside. A sleek black vehicle stopped right in front of his shop, shining like it didn't belong in that dusty neighborhood. Out stepped a sharply dressed woman, followed by two men in suits. Her heels clicked against the pavement as she looked around, her eyes scanning the worn-out building with a faint smirk. "You should move this pile of trash somewhere else," she said casually, crossing her arms. Daniel froze for a moment. He had heard harsh words before, but something about the way she said it, so effortless, so cold, cut deeper. He swallowed his pride and replied calmly, "This pile of trash feeds my family." The woman raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. "Not for long," she said. "This entire area is being redeveloped. My company just acquired the land next door." Her name was Victoria Calloway, a powerful CEO known for buying struggling businesses and turning them into profit machines. To her, places like Daniel's shop were nothing more than obstacles. Over the next few weeks, construction began. Loud machines, bright lights, and new buildings started rising around Daniel's shop. People in the town whispered about Victoria's plans. She was building a massive, modern repair facility that would dominate the entire market. Daniel's customers started drifting away, drawn to the shiny new place offering faster service and flashy deals. Each day, Daniel stood in his quiet shop, waiting. Some days, no one came at all. But he didn't give up. Instead, he did something unexpected. One afternoon, a young woman named Sarah walked into his shop, her car barely running. She looked worried, explaining she couldn't afford expensive repairs. Daniel listened carefully, nodded, and said, "Let's take a look." Hours later, he handed her the keys with a smile. "It's fixed." Sarah hesitated. I don't have much money right now." Daniel shook his head gently. "Pay me when you can. Or don't. Just stay safe on the road." Tears filled her eyes as she thanked him. Word of that moment spread. Not through advertisements or billboards, but through people. A single mother who couldn't afford repairs. A college student stranded far from home. An elderly man whose car was his only connection to the world. Daniel helped them all, never asking for more than they could give. Meanwhile, Victoria's business grew fast, but something was missing. Customers came, and left. They got quick service, sure. But no one remembered their names. No one cared about their stories. One evening, as Victoria reviewed her company's numbers, she noticed something strange. Despite her massive investment, profits weren't growing as expected. "Why are we losing repeat customers?" she asked sharply. One of her managers hesitated before answering. "There's a small shop nearby. People keep going back there." Victoria frowned. "That old place? Impossible." Curious, and slightly irritated, she decided to see it for herself. The next morning, she returned to Daniel's shop. This time, it looked different. It was still small. Still worn. But it was alive. People stood outside chatting, laughing, waiting their turn, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Victoria watched as Daniel handed a repaired car to an elderly woman, gently explaining what he had fixed. He didn't rush. He didn't push her away. He cared. For the first time, Victoria didn't speak immediately. She just observed. Finally, she stepped forward. "Why do they come here?" she asked. Daniel looked at her, recognizing her instantly. But his voice remained calm. "Because I treat them like people," he said simply. Victoria crossed her arms, but there was no smirk this time. "You're losing money doing that." "Maybe," Daniel replied. "But I'm gaining something more important." She didn't respond right away. That night, Victoria sat alone in her office, thinking. She had spent years building an empire, but somewhere along the way, she had forgotten why she started. She remembered her father, who once ran a small shop just like Daniel's. He used to say, "Kindness is the only investment that never fails." She hadn't thought about that in years. The next day, something unexpected happened. Victoria made a decision that shocked everyone. Instead of shutting Daniel down, she approached him with an offer. "I want to help you expand," she said. Daniel looked confused. "Why?" She took a breath. "Because I was wrong." Silence filled the room. "I thought success was about control," she continued. "But you've built something stronger than anything I've created." Daniel studied her face carefully. For the first time, he saw not a powerful CEO, but a human being trying to make things right. "What kind of help?" he asked. Victoria smiled slightly. "You keep your shop. Your way of doing things. I'll provide the resources, space, tools, whatever you need." Daniel paused. Then he nodded. Months later, the old factory nearby, once part of Victoria's empire, was transformed into a community-centered repair hub led by Daniel. But it wasn't just a business. It became a place where people felt seen. Where kindness was part of every transaction. Where success wasn't measured by profit alone, but by the number of lives touched. And something incredible happened. Victoria's company didn't